I want to begin today by expressing how deeply sorry I am for the impact this derailment has had on the residents of East Palestine and the surrounding communities. I've been to East Palestine many times over the past month. I've talked with the leaders, the business owners, the school officials, the clergy, and others throughout the community. They've shared their stories and their concerns about the health of their families and the future of the community they love. I am determined to make this right. Norfolk Southern will clean the site safely, thoroughly, and with urgency. You have my personal commitment.
My personal commitment. That's Alan Shaw. He's the CEO of Norfolk Southern. And he's talking about all the things he feels he regrets and he's sad about and he's concerned about the citizens in a well-prepared statement to say all those things, but you can say them. What is it you're gonna do though? Let's start with the employees of Norfolk Southern. Maybe folks that work a certain amount, maybe they're sick, maybe normal things that employees probably deserve. Luckily, Senator Bernie Sanders was there to ask this CEO that specific question. What is it you're gonna be doing for your workers? Maybe something pretty simple like a week's worth of sick paid leave, something that simple. So again, keep in mind what Alan Shaw just said about how he's concerned and listen to his answer about what he's gonna do.
Will you do what most Americans think is pretty obvious, that when you get sick, you get guaranteed paid sick days? Will you make that commitment right now to your entire workforce?
Senator, with our latest agreement with our employees, which included a historic 24% wage increase and access to premium healthcare benefits, we immediately pivoted to talking to each of our local.
I've been deeply involved. I introduced the amendment on the floor. I know the issue. Will you make that commitment right now to guarantee paid sick days to all of your workers? That's not a radical demand. It really is not. Will you make that commitment, sir?
Senator, I share your focus on our employees. I will commit to continuing to discuss with them important quality of life issues with our local craft colleagues.
In all due respect, you sound like a politician here, Mr. Shaw.
You sound like a bad politician here, Mr. Shaw. One who's not very good at hiding the fact that you want nothing to do with offering your employees 7 days of paid sick leave, especially as we're seeing, many folks in this region potentially getting sick. We've seen much of the animal and wildlife there getting sick already. So does he care, or is he just reading a statement? You got to pay attention to what they're looking to do, because when they want to do something, oh boy, do they do it. Something else that was done though is another train derailed though, this time in Alabama. Oh no, look at that. So when your statement is about how much you care, you're asked if you're gonna do anything for your employees that are normal for businesses, especially one as large as this, and that answer is also no. Then you have some more bad PR like this. How do you recover? How do you recover? Luckily, as he's sitting in there in this hearing, there's yet another senator willing to ask him a tough question, Senator Ed Markey. Because remember that whole thing about offering residents of the area that are affected that $1,000 or something like that? And there was an attorney that said, look out, they're probably trying to scam you here. He's asked directly. One more instance here of finding out exactly who this CEO is and what he's willing to do or not do.
Will you commit to compensating affected homeowners for their diminished property values?
Senator, I'm committing to do what's right.
Well, what's right is a family that had a home worth $100,000 that is now worth $50,000 will probably never be able to sell that home for $100,000 again. Will you compensate that family for that loss?
Senator, I'm committed to do what's right.
That is the right thing to do. These are the people who are innocent victims, Mr. Shaw. These people were just They're at home, and all of a sudden, their small businesses, their homes are forever going to have been diminished in value. Norfolk Southern owes these people.
Francesca, all talk, zero action, negative action, actually.
Yeah, no, I've seen like pull string dolls have more variation of answers than the CEO of Norfolk Southern. It's, it's gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening, right? And I commend these senators for trying. I think that Bernie Sanders has done a good job. I think Ed Markey did a good job. I think they've done a great job. However, this starts with the Biden administration. This starts with Pete Buttigieg. This starts with saying that we're bringing back the regulation that you need to put up-to-date electronic brakes on every single one of your rail cars. We're bringing back the regulation that says you can't have 150 length or 100 length rail car if you're carrying toxic substances. But I mean, think about what this dude is saying. He's like, oh, we are committed to cleaning up this mess, and we will do it, and we will do it quickly and expediently, and our hearts go out to the people of East Palestine. Okay, well, what about those workers? What if they get sick from not COVID, not a regular sickness, from cleaning up a toxic spill? Are you gonna commit to giving them paid sick leave? Well, we're gonna commit to talking about it. So it's pure greed. But what do you expect? This is the way corporations will behave unless there is some kind of regulation. And so again, the federal government needs to step up.
Maybe they'll get there. Again, when they started getting some kind of pressure on them, you mentioned Pete Buttigieg and Biden administration and how eventually the showing up happened. Again, that's where many of these folks think it starts and ends. Yeah, I showed up. I got there. Aren't you guys happy now? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And finally, at least a little bit, the CEO is getting some of the heat, but he'll just go back away. No one's gonna remember his name because no one thinks about his name. We think about these leaders in our country and their names. What are they gonna do to hold this guy accountable? Will he still pay them to do his bidding? Most likely, but we'll complain about each other and say it's someone else's fault.